Hey guys, what's going on? Matt here, and welcome back to the Black Ops 3 Mod Tools tutorial series. So then, in this video, we'll be putting in the player spawns and also the start zone. Now then, you'll notice I've got a few things extra. This is because this video is actually being remade. I was about to upload it, and I noticed there's a few things I wanted to add. So I'm quickly remaking it, just to add a bit more detail into it, that's all. So, ignore these. Everything I'm about to do is completely kind of its own thing, really. So first of all, I need to go up to my filters window because I've actually filtered out all the volumes up to now, and that's just because it's a bit of a mess to see. Now you can see everything's still completely the same, the way you guys will be able to see on the video, but if you venture out a little bit more, you'll see you've got some extra things. Okay, now then, this is what's known as a zone. Now zones themselves, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, you know, up to this stage, are used for two things. One, to control where your player is, but also to control zombie spawning. So, a bit of a brief overview here before we start to get into more stuff. So, if we have two separate areas, we have two separate zones. You can have more than one zone per area, you know, it's a bit of a weird shape, but commonly, you know, you'd have, you know, one zone, you know, for this instance at least, you know, having one zone per area. We'll split it up as we need to. So, for simplicity's sake though, each area is its own zone, and as you go from area to area, you are going from zone to zone. Of course, separating them areas typically are doors and debris, right? So as soon as you go from one zone to the next, you are buying that door, you are buying that debris. As soon as you buy it, that then activates the next zone. Now, the reason why we do that is because if you go outside of a zone, or you go into a zone which is not activated, it'll kill your player. Okay, so it's pretty important that we basically fill the entire playable space with zones, and we also connect these zones with doors and debris, right, to activate them as we go through. So at this stage, we're only making one zone. It's your starting zone, which is actually, it's activated as soon as you spawn into the map in this case. Okay, so that's a bit about zones. The other side of it is zombie spawning. It basically makes it so it monitors where your player is, and it'll only spawn zombies in the zone, which is either where you currently are or it's immediately close to you. Okay, so if your player's, you know, 3 rooms away from a zombie location, it's not going to spawn one because it's too far away. You know, it wants to spawn something closer. So that's the way they work. So if you have this box, perfectly fine. You can just resize it, as I will do, you know, in a few moments. But just in case you have deleted it, I'm going to show you guys how to make a zone. So you're going to go over to your entity browser. Sorry, you can right click up here. You can go down to entity browser. There it is. I've just typed in the word volume. Okay, I'm going to get my info volume. I'm going to drag that into my 2D view actually. Now, here's our volume. I'm literally just going to stretch this to fit our map, to fit our playable space at least. Okay. So there we go, drag it down. I'm going to put it up to about here actually. I want to leave a bit of a gap just so I can still select it nice and easily. So just like a brush, I'm going to be cutting parts out and making it fit nice and flush with the walls. Lovely. So there's our start zone. It encompasses the entirety of our playable space currently. And because we don't have any more areas, we don't need to focus on any buyables or anything like that. That's for a future video. For the moment, let's just focus on one zone. So now we need to give the zone a few KVPs. I'm just going to quickly texture it though, just to make sure texture nice and fresh. Again, you know, as in like the textures aren't sort of, you know, misaligned or anything. So let's give it some KVPs. So in entity info window, we can go to. I've got a note here. I've not done this for a while. So I'm going to go for. So it's an info volume. I almost got a bit sidetrack there. So info volume, and I'm going to give this to the KVP of start zone. Okay, I will put these KVPs in the description, because yeah, you can reference them then. So you got your info volume. You're going to give it a target name of start zone. This is your zone name. So if you're working on another zone, of course you'll give it a different name. Okay, target name start zone. Next is going to be scripts noteworthy. I'm going to do player underscore volume. So script noteworthy player volume. Okay. Next we'll add target. I'm actually going to leave that blank for the time being. The reason being is as soon as we, basically the way, as I said earlier, depending on where your player is, it will spawn the zombies, correct? So if we want to do that, we need to basically link spawners to zones, okay? So we need to say, right, this spawner is a part of this zone. And the way we do that is we give spawners names. So these little red squares, which I'll be doing, you know, in a future video, they are spawners, okay? They are given names. So because this is a target, you see, target name is what things are named. Targets are what we are referring to. So it's going to say for all spawners with a certain name, target them, activate them, make them spawn, right? So this here is where we put the name of them spawners. Typically, you do something like start zone underscore spawners, okay? Make sure you're keeping with this underscore though, yeah? Instead of putting any spaces, you have to keep with underscores. You can't do spaces. Okay, so it's going to be target. So that's going to basically reference the spawner, okay? So now next, let's move on to the actual player spawns. So at the moment, in a future video, we'll be putting, you know, we'll be linking it to spawners, but I'm trying to recreate the video based on what I did, okay? So actually, I'll put it in anyway. Purely because I'll forget to do it later otherwise. So that's now going to be referencing our spawners, right? It's going to say, right, for everything that's got a start zone spawning and everything that's called to that, do your thing, activate it, okay? So now, let's move on then to player spawns. So we got this, you know, start zone set up, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure I actually did it correct, 1 second. Yeah, double checking. So, player spawns. If you've kept these from your slightly template map, perfect. If not a problem. I'm going to delete them anyway. I'll show you guys how to get them back. So save this. We'll go over to a test map. Literally just create a new map in Launcher and just, you know, use it for testing. Perfectly fine. So if you do have them, of course you don't need to do this. You can just kind of skip ahead a little bit again. I'm going to select all these boxes. Just these ones. So you can see you've got 8 boxes that are all like, so, you know, got colours on them. You got a red one which they're all linking to, and then you got a bit more of a tall red one, okay? Control C to copy that, and now I'm going to reopen my normal map, Ritual. I'm going to hit Control V to paste that. Let's go over to here, put that back into our map. Try to ignore everything else here, guys. Oh wait, I've got the entire ground of it as well by accident. Okay, so here's our spawners. Try to ignore everything else going on if you can. It looks more complex than it really is, to be honest with you. So here's our spawners. Okay, I'll put them in our map. Of course, if you already had them, you know, left over, simply just drag them in. It really is as easy as that. If you don't have them, just bring them from a test map. Perfectly fine. You'll be using the exact same ones for pretty much every single map you ever make. So it's easy just to copy things over them, you know, make things from scratch. So there's the player spawns. You can now hit escape. Make sure, of course, they're not, you know, in the floor or anything. Make sure that, you know, they're all sort of properly positioned. You can move these around as well if you want. So if I wanted it a bit less towards the wall, perfectly fine. You can completely move these positions as well. Just position all these as you want. So you get your spawn points, your respawn points, solo, all that sort of stuff. That's what all these all are. Okay. Keep them all together, or, you know, within the, well, basically within your start zone, and things will work perfectly fine. So then, that's how to do that. I'm going to save this, and then the next video will be on compiling a map, I believe. Is that right? Yeah, I think the next video is that. If I'm wrong, I'm sure you guys will be able to see what's next anyway in the playlist. So yeah, that's how to add your start zone and also add your player spawns. Try not to get too confused with the whole zoning thing. As soon as you get your head around it, it's, you know, unless you already have, that's fantastic. If you haven't, don't worry about it too much. I appreciate it can be quite complex to sort of understand until you kind of, you know, like you do it yourself. But it is quite a simple thing to do once you get used to it. So yeah. Anyway, if you have any questions, please leave a comment down below, and I'll do my very best to help you there. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See you guys.